lots of transitions, lots of changes, finally surrendering and feeling into it all, but very grateful to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leilani. Grateful to have you. Tiffany?
That's funny. I was just about to volunteer and go. I'm Tiffany. I am currently in Taiwan, born in Taiwan, and heading to Oakland today. That's where I would like to root. And so I'm happy, Leilani, you're in the Bay. And yeah, I feel like I've been in transitional, that liminal phase for a while now, and really wanting some more clarity and permission to be in the exploratory integration embodiment phase of my life, wanting to bring the intention to this session or container today of grounded presence and just grounded presence.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, love. Happy to have you. Awesome. Molly or Destiny, whoever feels the call.
I'll go since I'm nicely pulled over. Let's see. Yeah, my intentions and everything is just to keep building and getting more settled in my strength and in my courage in myself and for what I'm doing, the passions I'm trying to foster and create, and keeping those going without, with fearlessness and with commitment and determination and dedication. That's what I'm bringing in today.
Thank you, Molly. Beautiful.
Oh, and I'm in San Luis Obispo, Central Coast, California, and I'm driving on this lovely, beautiful road. I wish I could show you a better view, but right now I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a mountain, I should say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, let me unmute you. All right, Destiny, you're good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Destiny, and I'm calling from the north coast of California, about 5-hour drive north of San Francisco and 2 hours south of Oregon, in the Redwood Forest. I just got back from work, and so I'm still grounding, but I feel really grateful for everything that's around me. I was sick last night, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit ill and depleted from work and the sensations going on in my body. But aside from that, I feel really happy and grateful. And I'm working on shifting my perspective to be less focused on fitting into prescribed boxes of who people should be and how they should act, and I'm just trying to find ways to be more creative and asking fundamentally what's going to serve my highest good, and stepping into life from that space.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Destiny.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here. I love that there's such a synergy within everyone here. And also those who have not dropped in yet, but we're gonna have a few women that are gonna be joining me. And there's like a Russian superstition: if something is falling, if something drops, that means someone's like in a hurry to get here. So, that's pretty cool. I don't know if someone is someone new joining, or did Molly just? Okay, I think that Molly might have. Okay, hopefully she'll be back. But interesting timing. Okay, so I don't know why are you guys muting yourselves on purpose, or is that just happening? And also I'm noticing
I'm not.
Okay.
I've been muting
okay.
Just for more sound.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to make sure. And also there's a bit of a lag, but I think it's okay. I'm still trying to master the whole group Zoom calls, so just bear with me. I typically just do one-on-ones. So, okay, so let's just Let's just drop into the space. This is really exciting that we're here finally activating this space. There's a lot to that because I feel like up until this point, there's been a lot of moving parts. So right now, where everyone is that we're all landing in our own ways. And so there's this a deepening and a landing that's taking place. And now we get to support one another and really tune into what do we want to do from here? How are we just choosing to move forward? So I'm just going to say a short prayer to activate the space, and then hopefully we'll be joined by more women, but if not, then either way, we'll keep going. So, okay. So if you can close your eyes and drop into your body, wherever you're sitting or standing, just allowing yourself to strengthen your spine and put your feet firmly on the ground. And so we're going to be working a lot with our bodies and with all aspects of ourselves, and really welcoming our bodies into the space, welcoming ourselves to be anchored, to be grounded, to be rooted, to feel the support of the earth, the support of our strength. And just if you can place your hands on your knees or on your legs, and just feel like pressing down on your legs, feeling the solidity of your body, and how healthy.
No. Sorry, my cat.
Okay. Okay. So, beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master's flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I am calling forth violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name, till I am one with the violet flame. Aho. So this is the violet flame prayer, and this is the invocation to clear anything that is not serving us, and ultimately to be stepping into our freedom, into our expansion. And so we will be starting our calls with this prayer, and I'm going to post it, and this is something that I do several times a day to help me root and ground and clear. So when you do this, you can close your eyes and imagine a wall of violet fire transmuting and burning away anything that no longer serves. So we're going to be working a lot with the fire. So I don't know if anyone else has a flame or a candle nearby. So I'm going to, Destiny, I'm going to mute you if that's okay. Thank you. And at any point you can unmute yourself. So we're going to be working with the fire, with purification and transmutation. And so if you have a flame or some kind of if not, no worries. But this is going to be serving as the cauldron of purification. So we're going to be working a lot with symbolism and with myth, with archetypes. And the cauldron, the fire purification is going to be always something that's going to be holding the space and purifying everything that comes up, both within the container now and with everything we're going to be working with. So I'd love to I'm just going to be educating you as we go. And so I love that I pulled this card to start, is what do you feel? So before the call, I got a very clear message from Spirit to create a container for us to explore various parts of ourselves. Right now, it feels like there might be some internal conflict that's happening, and so it sounds like it's resonating. And today is a space for us to explore that and be witnessed in it, and to give aspects of ourselves a voice. And so I'm curious, how is this landing for you guys? How are you guys feeling right now?
Spot on.
Okay, awesome. How are you feeling, Destiny?
It resonates so far.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And Tiffany, what about you?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm curious if Molly's gonna come back online. I'm guessing she will join us when she gets there. So we'll just get started, and whoever joins will join at whatever time they do. So okay, so right now we are opening up the space for okay, beautiful. Hi. Okay, perfect. You're here. Awesome. Okay, so right now we're opening up this. We're going to be working a lot with archetypal energies and also our different aspects of ourselves. And I'm okay. So we're opening up the space to give different aspects of ourselves, and you can choose whatever it is that you want to express, like whatever aspect of you wants to be expressed. So let us start with the inner child. And so we can just go one by one, and we'll give a few minutes of just allowing our inner child to speak. And I know that it could be a little bit vulnerable, and so I totally honor whatever wants to be spoken. Just know this is a safe space. And whatever we talk about, we'll just generally keep in the container unless the person themselves, in terms of the group, if you want to speak to something deeper, you're more than welcome to bring it up and start, post about it, start a thread about it. But otherwise, we'll just honor each other's the confidentiality of what we're sharing and not bring it up unless the person asks for it. So whatever you share here, just know this is a safe space. And we are starting with the inner child. And so this is something where becoming a sovereign woman is being integrated. It's allowing all parts of ourselves to coexist and giving all parts of ourselves a voice and an opportunity to speak. So we're going to start with inner child, then we're going to be moving up. Not that there's a hierarchy, but whatever it is that our inner child is feeling in this moment, whatever need or emotion or expression wants to emerge, let's welcome that. So we're going to give about a minute each. And if you need some extra time, that's totally fine. We'll just like a minute to 2 minutes. If there's like a flow coming up, I also don't want to stop it. So, okay. So who here feels like their inner child is just like really wanting to emerge right now and express something? Okay. Okay.
I actually was working with a former coach of mine yesterday
Mhm.
in another smaller container. And she's been working with myself and another woman on money and the stories that we've been telling ourselves that passed down to us from our parents about money and what we were taught about money. And so that is something that is prevalent that's been coming up is in regards to how my parents dealt with money and how that's affecting my money situation right now. My dad was always trying to be the savior and help pay for other people's stuff, and made him feel worthy if he could pay for things for other people or get people out of their debt, and just put himself in more debt, which is definitely a mirror in not only my like tangible money but in my energy. So that was something that I've been working on ever since I was a kid. So that's a story for me.
Thank you for expressing that. And if you can just take a moment to drop into your inner child, what does she want to say from first person? How does she feel about this? And with the work that she's been doing recently, like what has been rising for her personally?
That she doesn't have to be the savior, and it's okay to let people figure stuff out on their own and to not have to always wear the superhero cape. It's okay to just be the observer and let people figure stuff out on their own.
Wow. Yeah. So giving people responsibility back to themselves, not anyone else's responsibility on.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the emotion behind that? How do you feel? How does taking responsibility for other people make you feel, or feeling like you have to be the savior?
It's a lot. It's heavy, but it also is in line with my purpose and what does drive me and what does like have me feel fulfilled in helping people. But it doesn't have to be me forcing it on them, but like when they're ready, be able to ask them the questions and hold that space for them rather than pushing the questions on them when they're not ready. Just what happened this morning.
Wow, yeah. So you just went through a process that confirmed that. Thank you so much for expressing. Do you feel complete? Does it feel in this moment? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, that's a very powerful topic, and we'll definitely be diving into that discussion. And so if anyone has anything that it either resonates with their inner child or whatever their inner child has been experiencing lately, any emotions, any needs and desires, or anything that you feel like needs to be expressed in this moment, like we're opening up the space. So whoever wants to go next, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I can go. My inner child feels really needy and like just wants to curl up in bed and feel grounded energy, like just feel loved, attention. Like I've been sick in the last 10 days, so just want like comfort food to be sent to me, and love, attention, and reassurance that everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. And it's been a taste with my grandmother in hospital, and transitioning into going back to the States and feeling this overwhelm of going on this long flight and feeling that it's okay for me to feel all the feels. So it's like, sad. Like I'm feeling it now, just like this overwhelming sense of like, it's like I'm imagining like a huge like blanket on my body right now. That's what my inner child wants, just to be held and embraced and loved, and have someone say it's okay to cry and like actually break down those walls that are trying to keep it together for my family. And yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, love. Yeah, just honoring your vulnerability and you being with yourself at this time, and just really what your needs are and welcoming them. Yeah, I know it's tender, but it's really, it's beautiful to witness you in this moment of expressing that, and just sending your inner child so much love. Do you feel complete in this moment?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, loves. Molly, Destiny, whoever wants to go next.
I can go. It's really interesting because nothing has been coming up for me. I feel like my cat's scratching the scratch pad. I've been doing a lot of inner child work for like years, because I was born 11 or 12 days late, and the doctor scratched open my scalp while trying to break my mom's water. I came out with a cord wrapped around my neck, and then was born with a double aortic arch, which was suffocating me for the first 18 months of my life, which I got removed by them cutting my ribs off and them growing back because I was young enough for them to grow back. And then I also was born with a defected knee, which popped out of place if I tried to run or jump off something or ski kind of type movements. So I've had a lot of stuff to work on, you could say, since I was a kid. but I feel very at peace with it all recently. I've been feeling like I've done so much care for that inner child and that those wounds that need attention. I'd say right now she wants to play, and she's excited about expressing herself and feeling like she can fully emerge instead of hiding behind all the pains and um, all the pain and suffering in a way that I had to go through to get to where I am, to be, empathetic and kind and giving. So I feel very like clear right now in that space in my life.
Beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. You're also welcome to share what your inner teenager is experiencing as well. We're going to be working a lot with the inner teenager. I know that the inner child, that's like the typical focal point, and we don't give enough space for our inner teenager. That usually is the inner teenager usually goes through a whole nother realm of experiences that we don't fully pay attention to because we're so focused on the now and the inner child. So we're also going to, so everyone that already shared, you're also, once we're done, you can speak to your inner teenager as well if you'd like, if it feels like there's something that your inner teenager wants to say. So you have, you can choose either one or both, the inner child and the inner teenager. So the inner teenager takes care of the inner child. The inner teenager typically establishes different behavioral patterns and coping mechanisms in order to nurture and protect the inner child, or to be able to deal with the emotions that the inner child hasn't dealt with. So the inner teenager is usually, a lot of it has to do with external behaviors. A lot of our coping styles, a lot of our vices, or various forms of dealing with things come from the inner teenager. So that's just a little background on that focus. So is there anything that your inner teenager is currently experiencing that you want to express?
That I can definitely speak on. I feel that that's like, as I'm emerging from this deep healing of my inner child, it's been all of a sudden, Anya, you're like talking about this inner teenager. I'm like, like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. This is the work. This is the place that I need to focus on because, so inner teenage work, for me is honoring my sexual expression, honoring who I am without being told what I should be. Honoring my journey, in my openness in relationship, being free to be in myself and be with mostly myself, because that's where I prefer and love to be, is stable and grounded in myself. Feeling my worth. I also was I failed out of school every 2 years. So I was kind of, in my mind, I always think that I'm a failure, but really I'm not. And so deprogramming that into being successful, into, I have lots of gifts and talents that maybe the system doesn't recognize or see, that now I get to embody, but as a teenager maybe was told wasn't good enough, or it didn't fit into my into the program, the school program. Mm-hmm. So it's been really it's been obviously a process to work through honoring myself as who I am, but also letting go of all those mental habits that I created, in that drama filled high school, teenage years that, I was in middle school when Mean Girls came out, and I remember girls acting out just like that. Mm-hmm. And, letting all that go, is also like integrating that which I remember myself to be, even as a child, those things that you're like, oh, I guess I've always been like this. These are the parts that have always stayed true. and the good parts, and not just always beating myself up that I'm not good enough, that I did this wrong and that wrong, like the self-judgment that can take over when you're bombarded with getting a good grade or making sure you're looked at as normal and as someone who fits in, and I think that, yeah, that's my journey with that. It's learning, still solidifying that I am totally like awesome in who I am.
Beautiful, thank you. So yeah, there's that's the next layer. Typically, when you've been working with the inner child a lot, and the inner child feels more or less content, and that like we've spoken to the needs. Now it's more of the behaviors. It's more of these belief patterns that we hold about ourselves. And the inner teenager it's really about emerging out into the world and being social and exploring our sexuality and exploring what our interests are, and how, like, what is truly true for ourselves, and what are all these patterns that we've established that don't actually have to do with who we truly are, and breaking that. So that, yeah, everything you shared, thank you, really resonates. Okay, so Destiny, I'm sorry that you keep talking last. I really want to make sure that you're heard and
Oh no.
the space. How are you feeling, and how is your inner child or your inner teenager doing?
I'm doing well. It comes in waves. But I would say that some of the core um, programming that I'm trying to work through, that I think comes from inner child wounds, um, is related to this story that I'm not safe, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy. And it plays out in so many subtle ways in my subconscious, and the choices that I make, and the way that I relate to other people. And it's really pervasive. And so I'm really working on it. And lately, I've been wanting to be seen and be heard, and have been trying to call in situations where I can be seen and heard, or where I'm put in a leadership position. And a part of me wants to shrink up in fear, like a deer in headlights. So I'm working through that, and it's slowly getting a little bit easier. I'm learning to have a little bit more confidence. It's Sometimes it's crazy, the stories we tell ourselves, they really don't make any sense. And so I'm trying to witness that and realize that those stories aren't true, that I am capable, and that I have called these situations in my life for a reason, and I'm ready to step out there and just make it happen. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for sharing like the tension of opposites that you're holding about these patterns that emerge, but also the different ways that you're like the different opportunities you're creating in your life to show to yourself that that's not true. And that's also like you get to be with them, and you get to be like, I'm actually choosing something else. Like, this isn't my truth, even though there's a part of me that might believe that. And so we're going to be working a lot with it. And one of the key elements in this process is for us not to shame these voices, for us not to shame these parts of ourselves, for us to really to bring them into our inner council meeting. So we're going to be focusing on the inner council, and these archetypal energies and these aspects of ourselves. They're all, if you can just imagine everyone sitting at a round table, they're all present at all times. And yet sometimes someone will just like hog the mic and take over, or another, like our inner child can be hiding under the table and just like occasionally like peeking out, or can, like just like poke us and try to get our attention, or throw tantrums when we're not paying attention. And so that is so I wonder who's here. Just one moment. Okay, so we have a new participant. Okay, Brittany, hi, love. Can you see us? It says
Hi, I can see you. Can you see me or at all or no?
I can hear you, but it says that your camera's off.
Oh, let me see. Okay.
Okay, beautiful. Hi.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
So good to see you, love. We were just talking about the
Good to see you.
and so you're popping in perfect timing. Basically, everyone just
Amazing.
yeah. So you're here exactly where you're meant to, and we just want to welcome you into the space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So yeah, so if you could just, we are like everyone already shared aside from me, and I'm gonna try to share at the end, but I would love
Okay.
to go next. If you can just introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, share a little about yourself, and also we are giving a voice to aspects of ourselves right now, whether that's inner child or inner teenager or both. So whatever is most alive,
Yeah.
if there's like an internal conflict that's taking place or an aspect of your inner child or inner teenager that wants to be expressed, this is a safe space. So we're just
Yes.
that. And so
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Brittany. I'm from San Diego. I'm not sure where everyone else is from, but I would love to connect if anybody's in the area. So yeah, what's going on with me right now? I think probably aspects of both are coming up. Definitely inner child stuff is coming up in so many different relationships right now. Just like my own partnership that I've been dealing with, and things between my dad and I are coming up a lot, and that's very much linked to my teenage self as well. I went through a lot as a teenager, especially with my dad, so both are tied in with him, and I've been seeing him more lately, and a lot's coming up around that. So I don't know how much to say. I know we're at the end. I'm sorry.
oh, it's all good. Well, what would you say? You're saying that both your inner child and your inner is coming up. What would you say the theme is? Like, what is a need that's coming up for you, or what are you noticing? What is an emotion that either one of your inner children or inner teenage selves feel?
Okay, so as a teenager, I think I was very angry. I was very rebellious all the time, and over the last, I don't know, 15 years, I've become kind of the opposite, very passive. And I feel like that has served me in many ways, but it also has made me a little bit more susceptible to being taken advantage of in some ways. And so I feel that's coming up right now, like a little bit more of like my angry teenager is popping up. Like I'm not okay with being walked on. And I feel like there are benefits to that are coming out now that I didn't know how to balance when I was a teenager. Like I'm feeling more able to express that without just like screaming at the top of my lungs, like I would when I was a teenager. So that's coming up for me. And as far as like the inner child stuff, then a need that I have right now, I guess I'm feeling very conflicted because I feel like I have this inner conflict between like needing more love, needing acknowledgement, needing nurturing, and feeling like I'm usually the nurturer in my family and my friendships, and So I have like the need for those things, but at the same time, I have like a very strong trauma history. So my traumas are like, okay, I need love, I need love, I need love. And then I just like run terrified from connection. And so I'm really feeling this drive to connect deeper with people. And then I feel like I'm making progress. And then all of a sudden it's like my inner child is just like, no, just gets really, really scared. And then all I want to do, like when I feel triggered, is like isolate and not talk to anybody, not bring anybody into my pain and what I'm going through, and just like create this bubble around myself, which is probably, that is basically what I did when I was very small child. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now for me.
Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for speaking
Yeah.
to that, so that internal conflict, wanting closeness, wanting intimacy, and also wanting wanting to isolate, wanting to creating separation out of the fear of
Yeah.
intimacy. So we're going to be working a lot with that. We're going to be speaking and working with different parts of ourselves and finding ways to come into congruency and to come into cohesion, because we're not here
Yes.
to anything. We're not here to put a standard and ignore anything that we're feeling. We're here to be present with everything. And so so the teaching, or also that I'm here to introduce, are the inner council. And so I'm going to post about this so that we can each have our own process with it. And then next time that we meet, or either next time or next month, we're going to really deepen into that. We're going to have some time to sit with what does our inner council look like. And this is something that you might be familiar with, or it's something that might be completely new for you. But it's basically, I'm going to give you like a way to navigate, to figure out how to sort them out. But at our round table, imagine that every single one of us has a round table of the energies that make our decisions, that often can speak for us, that can act out. At any given point, when we feel fully sourced and fully connected, grounded, resourced, we feel great. We have more of not so much of a control. I don't want to say control, but we have a more of a navigation with it. We know what parts of ourselves are speaking. Our integrated adult can hold the mic. So there's like a circle of beings at this inner council. The integrated self is usually the one that tries to speak for everyone. But then there's when we feel when we're scared, when we're feeling really strong emotion, when we have trauma come up, when our leadership skills are being put to a question and we have to perform. There's so many different ways that we can, that mic can basically just kind of get thrown off, and then someone else might, and then that's when we feel like we're self-sabotaging. That's when we're feeling like, I have no idea where these behaviors are coming from, or like, why am I taken over by these thoughts and these emotions? Like, why don't I have a handle on myself? And we start to feel like shame spirals, or feeling like, like feeling inadequate, feeling confused, feeling like we want closeness, we want support, we want connection, and we're terrified because we don't want these parts of ourselves to be seen. So here resonates.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it resonates for me too a lot. This kind of weird interplay where you want something and yet you have resistance to it. You want closeness, you want love, you want divine partnership, and yet when it's in your face, you close up because you can't. It's like it's not even conscious. You just, in order to feel safe, you close up. Or wanting to be a leader, but then shrinking up when you're in that situation. So that really resonates.
Yes. I have goosebumps right now. Yes, exactly.
Awesome. I'm so glad this is speaking. Yeah, so this is, and it's so beautiful too, because like here we are each having our own individual experience, but there's such a resonance. And we're going to notice too that there's going to be different themes that we're going to be experiencing within the collective and within different women present. And there's going to be a lot of synchronicities because we're being brought together for a reason. So it's not at all random, and it's going to be, I'm so glad that this is speaking to you, because we're going to be starting with bringing parts of ourselves into cohesion, because this work, it's a lifetime journey to step into your sovereignty, to step into your empowerment, to get to know all parts of yourself and to fully be who you are in today's day and age. It's a constant journey. There's many layers, and that's why for all of you who feel like they've been doing the work for many years, and you're like, why does it feel like sometimes I'm back at square one, or why does it feel like I've made it so far and yet I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? Pardon my French, but it's like, there's have those moments. And so I really I want us to give ourselves permission to be where we're at. And so to really come to this group cohesive understanding that we've all done deep work. We're all compassionate, powerful women, and we are inherently imperfectly perfect beings. And so with this understanding, we're showing up to this collective, we're showing up to this container, and then we're also going to be inspired to show up like that into the world. And so the energy that we're here to create within being held within this container is ideally what we're modeling to ourselves to then bring out into the world. And so we want to welcome all parts of ourselves, and we want to really give all parts of ourselves a voice. And so we're not here like to shame or guilt trip. Those two are the energies that can really spin us out and also disconnect us from the world. So when you feel shameful about your past or about how you're feeling or about what you're doing, and you start guilt tripping yourself. So shame and guilt is super connected, and we'll speak more to that at a later time as well. Really understanding those emotions and understanding when we're operating from that. Because once we start operating from the way to the antidote is authenticity. The antidote to shame and guilt, and Brene Brown talks a lot about this, is going into our authentic selves and just being like, okay, right now, yes, I may be triggered, I may feel out of balance, I may feel conflicted, I may feel disconnected from myself, and right now I'm giving myself full permission to be in this space and just allow myself to be with it. And the moment that we give ourselves permission, that energy, that constriction, and that psychic tension that gets developed gets to be released. So let's just take a collective breath right now. Yeah. So there's a lot that gets developed in our psyches, in our bodies, and especially when we're dealing with various trauma responses. So we're going to be working a lot with the thematics of this process, and also I'm really excited to just bring in all these different tools for you, such as the meditation and subconscious reprogramming, because we're literally going to be working with various aspects of this simultaneously and like tackling it at all angles without feeling like we are here to fix ourselves. Because that's not at all that's not the message that I want to bring, of just like we're here to like we got to work on ourselves and fix ourselves. We're here to bring all aspects of ourselves into our lives, and doing it in a way that is supportive for us and in a way that honors all that we are. So hi love, hi Mandy. So happy to see you, love. Can you hear us?
Yes, I apologize for being late. I was on another call until just now. Thank you.
All good. I'm so really happy to have you here. So we've just been, and I recorded this, so I'll send you the recording and for parts that you've missed. But essentially, we are talking about the inner council and how we have various parts of ourselves that can feel conflicted or out of balance, or can self-sabotage or go into patterns of isolation, or whatever it is that energy that's been the programming in your system when we feel out of balance. And so we are talking about essentially seeing ourselves as perfectly imperfect and not here to fix or shame or guilt trip anything into being. We're here to welcome all parts of ourselves. And so we're going to be learning to be with all that we are and bringing harmony and cohesion and allowing ourselves to understand all these parts that are operating, and then finding ways of just like, how do we come into our totality without losing who we are, but also with feeling more empowered to step into our power and to no longer give our energy to aspects that are not serving. So what we would love to hear, you can just introduce yourself and a little bit about your current transition process. And also if you want to speak to your inner child or to your inner teenager or both of what you're experiencing right now. And if there's an aspect of your inner child or teenager that wants to be expressed or heard. Anything that you want to share with that.
And what do you mean by transition?
Well, everyone's here going through one transition or another. So, and I know that the transition is a big theme as well for you. So whatever you want to share about your process.
Okay. Hi, ladies. I'm Mandy. I'm currently in Maui. I live in San Francisco. I have another home in San Diego. I'm in transition right now. I joined the group, I think, in February, and let's see. So the question was share about my transition and then my inner child and my teenager. Yeah, this week was really hard. I am processing it and also learning how to accept it. And then also, sorry, there's like background noise. I'm learning how to accept reality and what's going on. I lost a cat this week, and it was very traumatic, unexpected, and sad. And at the same moment, I lost my relationship because I decided I'm breaking up with the boyfriend, like in the same moment because of the cat thing. But and I have multiple homes, and now I have to dissolve, or I get to dissolve one of them. I am called to Hawaii. I was on Oahu, Lanakai, Oahu, for a week recently. Now I'm in Maui. I'm visiting my family here. They're all on the island. I'm in a lot of healings. I see a lot of healers and psychics, and I'm in several women's groups that are around the priestess energy and the goddess energy, and I am a healer myself, so I feel like I fit in here. I do want to say I was hugely triggered like 15 minutes ago, like full on fight mode, triggered, like adrenaline in my body. So I'm trying to come down now from that because my relationship is ending, and there's a lot of moving parts within, separating. And I'm psychic. I'm trying to embrace my psychic powers. I got a hit today, or a download or whatever, a message that he is moving, my boyfriend, soon ex, is moving to Italy. And so I texted him, when are you leaving for Italy? And then he texted back July 5th, and I'm like, okay. But because his text totally sent all that adrenaline. I have a lot of feelings, and my inner child, she actually feels really good because I just was on another coaching call with women that I love. And so I was on there for an hour and a half. And so my inner child feels very happy. She's not normally happy, but she's actually very happy right now. And she's feeling safe and validated, and like she's accepted. And then my teenager, so I did not express as a teenager. I was actually mute most of my life. So I'm making up for lost time with my expression now, and there's no lost time, but you know what I mean. And so the inner teenager actually wants to kind of fight, or she's not backing down. It feels like she wasn't expressed, or her boundaries were crossed, and she's now wanting to assert herself in a way that she didn't express as a teenager. I see it as like I lost my chance to express, but I know that's not really how it is. And so she kind of wants to rebel and say fuck it, or like fuck, I don't know who I'm saying fuck it to, but just she doesn't want to back down or put up with any conditioning of compliance, or any. She doesn't want to be told what to do. She just wants to be free. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, love. And I just want to just honor you in your process. Thank you for being here and with everything that's going on, and also just honoring your vulnerability and your courage, your power, and your inner teenager who is coming through and just saying fuck it and wants to assert herself, which is such a big that is such an important process, and that is meant to be celebrated. And we are here to also celebrate the sacred rage, because rage is a way for us to really to activate our power, to activate our strength, and not doing it in a way that's harming anyone else, but doing it in a way that that reclaims parts of ourselves. And so if there's an aspect of you that's feeling some rage, or that's feeling like you don't even know who you're angry at, but you're feeling that anger, and I know that Brittany was talking about it earlier as well, it's just like, how do we creating a space for that. And that's a large reason why we work with fire and the flame, is that the flame represents purification and transmutation of anger and of that activated energy. And so we're going to be doing various movements. We're going to be implementing that. How do we work with sacred rage, and how do we work with these emotions that could feel they might not, maybe they don't make sense, or we don't know how to contain them, or we don't know why we're feeling the way we do, we just feel it. But how do we allow that to be expressed? And I'm sorry if you're hearing my dog snoring in the background. But it's basically, I just wanted to really start our journey in today's session by welcoming all parts of ourselves, welcoming all of our emotions, and at the same time knowing that we are here on this refinement process. We are here to take responsibility and fully claim ourselves, and that starts by welcoming all the parts. And so let me check in with the time. Okay, so we're at 8 o'clock, so we're going to go about 20-30 more minutes. And so I wanted to take a collective pulse and just see where everyone is at in this moment. If anyone has anything they want to express right now, I would love to open up the space to hear your what's coming up for you.
I'm really excited to be here with all of you guys and hear all of your stories, or at least, bits and pieces of it. I think you guys are all so lovely. And it's so good to see you and be on this journey with you. I know that we're all going through transitions, and Mandy, you spoke some words that are, fairly true to me too. I'm leaving my boyfriend's house, but it's been actually quite different because we get along really well. And so our communication is really, really present, and on both sides. And I probably wouldn't have been with him if he wasn't a good communicator, because it's my number one. It's if you can't communicate, I can't be with you. No, I'm just kidding. But that learning how to be in that fire, because I've been high with my fire in the past, where I'm just burning alive all on a day-to-day basis, anxiety and freaking out about what's going on with the world and how to fix it, and wanting to do it all myself and not having the means to really do anything like that. And how to balance all those energies in myself of, okay, when is the proper time for fire and when is the proper time for water and air and earth? Mm-hmm. And I feel very lucky to be with someone who we can transition in a really healthy friendship, and we're kind of opening our relationship, so to speak. We're not going to title it anymore, and I'll be moving on to some sacred grounds that I get to live in an awesome yurt. But I'm just kind of, I guess part of this is bringing up watching my journey progress. And I think the important thing that I've learned is how to just really be present with myself, like in every single moment. And that's so hard when you get anxiety and all you want to do is drive faster, get somewhere, or like distract yourself with something or with someone, or tell you, and I feel like I've just finally, I got hit, when he broke up with me, I got hit with this like immense like flash of reality check. Like, who am I? And do I need to keep creating this anxiety around who I am and what I am? Or do I need to just start mantraing like, oh, I know I'm worthy. I know I'm good enough. I know I have everything that I need to support me. And whenever those thoughts of doubt that arise, I like sit with them, I look at them like a dear friend, because I would never be mean to anyone. Why would I want to be mean to myself? Why do I continue to hurt myself and beat myself up for everything? I would never, ever, ever do that to anyone else. And I just got so sick and tired of, why do I treat myself like shit, like complete shit? Yet I would never, ever, ever, ever do that to anyone else. And I realized, like, because I had lack of self-worth, I didn't put myself up to the level that I put other people. I put myself below. And maybe at a time I was afraid to shine. And really, that child, the teenage years, I remember being in choir. I sing, and people tell me I have an angelic voice, which I'm trying to honor. But it's been a long time of like this inner dialogue, which is ironic because the voice inside me says, well, tone it down a little bit, because you'll outshine everyone, and if you outshine everyone, you'll piss them off, and then nobody will like you because you're so fucking awesome. And then you're gonna not have any friends, or then you're gonna be outcast. So it's, we all make up these stories to keep ourselves like suppressed, and it's it's part of the system that we're breaking, the gears that have been set in place, the paradigm that we're now leaving behind, because it doesn't serve any of us. It doesn't make me a better person to be less than who I truly am. And how to honor those things, how to say, yeah, I have a beautiful voice, a singing voice, and say it with true like conviction, and not saying it to prove it to anyone, but saying it because I know it. But not also because I'm boastful and want to tell everyone that I've got a beautiful voice. So, there's all these layers to ourselves. And how do I sit with that and go, okay, how does that actually feel? Where is it coming from in my body? Is it coming from like my root area, or is it coming from like up here, and it's a long journey, and it's hard. It's not always easy, but I know when I slow down in those moments of chaos, and I can say, hold on, why am I saying that I'm not good enough? Like, why do I feel that way? And it's like, oh, because I've been told I'm not good enough. And it's like, do you want to believe that anymore? No, I don't want to believe that. Well then, okay, are you ready to let it go? Yeah, okay, I'm ready to let it go. What do you want to replace it with? That I am good enough. I know I'm good enough. I strive to be good enough. And then every time it comes back up, I have to repeat that and repeat that. Anyways, that's what's coming up for me right now. Just all those triggered that like process that I feel I've been in to like heal myself. And, that adolescent kid wants to fight and say, no, you're still not good enough, and you'll never be good enough. And, but the adult me, the mother me, the person that, I'm a caregiver, I take care of 3 kids. And so what do I do with the kids? I reassure them over and over. When the kid doesn't want to work with me, I say, teamwork makes the what? And he goes, dream work. And I go, great, let's work together. And he's like, okay. And he can snap out of his inability to work with me. But that took months and months of repeating, teamwork makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. So it's this reassuring, constant reaffirmations, constant. Every time he's going through that rebellious, I'm not going to listen to any adult figure. You go, but I need your help, because what? Teamwork makes the what? Dream work. We got to work together. So, yeah, but it takes time. It's a gentle process, and we got to be gentle. We can't beat ourselves up. We can't continue to say, I got to be here now. It's like I was on the way driving here, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late for this meeting. And I was like, I could just hop on the car. It may not be ideal, but I won't beat myself up because I'm still here.
Exactly.
So being like, I'm going to beat myself up. So there's my little thing.
Thank you so much for sharing, love. You brought up so many good points. And yeah, I just really want to honor your process and the gratitude of, being where you are and knowing that we're enough and we're so worthy just by inherently being who we are, and deepening into that. And we get to just be more of ourselves. We get to just show up more as we are. And so it's not like we're here to change ourselves. We're here to really tune into what are the kind of lives we want to be living, and how do we support ourselves and each other in stepping into being our best selves, not because we're not good enough right now, but because we choose to create lives that fully fulfill us on all levels. So it's not even so much of how do we work on ourselves, but how do we consciously create the reality that is here to really meet us in all that we are, and gets to be really fulfilling, and we get to really show up in our fullness. And so what does that look like? And so we talked about the inner child, and we talked about the inner teenager. And so these are the two of the energies that we're here to tend to and heal and work with. And then there's various aspects of ourselves that that show up in relationships, that show up in our work, in our positions of leadership, and there's all these archetypes of our self-expression, whether that's a singer, or a songstress, or creatrix, a priestess, a tantrika, a leader, and a caregiver, someone that is here to heal and care and support others. Whatever that role is, we are so beyond that, and at the same time, there are all these aspects of us that coexist. And so, lastly, I want to really focus on what is our integrated adult self. From the expression of our integrated adult self, all parts of ourselves integrated. How do we? What is it that we see in our life right now? What are we here to create? So let's just give some time to that. I'm gonna just really quickly check on our time. Okay, so it's 8:12. So we have about 20 minutes, give or take. So if we can each, just limit it to a minute or two, of what does your integrated self currently want to express, whether that is what you want to create, what you see in yourself, or just anything that feels like it wants to be spoken. So whoever wants to go first is welcome to unmute themselves.
This is Mandy. I'll go just because I'm used to sharing on video today. So yes, it's this adult self, integrated self, still feels a little bit like a fantasy. Although I have the vision, so I know it's there. I am a sexual healer, and I am really a healer. I'm not, I am to the core of my being. I'm a healer in the realm of sex, and in the realm of trauma, and I feel like grief too. I feel like I'm in grief right now, and I feel like I'm called to help people, actually women. I'm called to help women heal the grief, heal the sexual trauma, and you release emotion. So a lot of somatic and body-based kind of releasing. And I see, I'm just going to zoom in on my vision. So I've been called to Hawaii to find a sacred land, to erect a temple for women. This is big. I need millions of dollars. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I do see a space where women will come to the center, and we will heal all these parts, the relationships, the betrayal, the heart, the love addiction, hopefully the codependency, which is all the path that I've been on myself, and I'm sober in AA. And other programs too. And so I'm really called in this way, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. What I have been doing is collaborating and connecting with women that are on a similar path, just so I can surround myself with in the right arena. And lastly, I'll just say in my personal life, like I've really struggled with relationship and men. And I am releasing this relationship I have currently, and I would love to call in a masculine that communicates and is loyal, and ideally is sober around me, and is very open to my calling, because I am a sexual healer and I work hands-on with men and women, and so I would need a lot of space for my purpose, a lot of space for my expression, and a lot of encouragement for that. And a lot of nurturing love and cuddles and lovemaking. So that is what my full, I think you said, integrated adult self wants. She wants to express, and to live for my desire. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, so powerful. Thank you. All right. Who feels called to go next?
I'll go. Yeah, thank you, Mandy. I can relate to a lot of what you said, actually. 3 words come to mind of my integrated self wanting to be able to have this transmission of love, presence, and permission. I see my integrated adult self, who I am to my clients during sessions. I also do sacred sexual healing, de-armoring, yoni massage, who I am in that realm of being totally 100% there. And for my clients, I actually want to bring into myself, and I think that's my own journey, being able to hold that and have approval for all the parts, the inner child and the inner teenager, knowing that I've got the answers inside that I always share to other people, but to actually follow my own medicine. So having grounding presence and permission for when I'm here on this world, when I'm here and called to do. Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment.
Thank you so much, love. Beautiful. Yeah, feeling a strong resonance.
Yeah.
Who feels called to share next?
I can go. It's interesting, as each person is talking, things are coming up, and so one of the things, though, in my coaching that I'm starting to do is helping athletes transition from this idea of I'm only athlete into I am more than that, and what is my purpose outside of that. And I see a high need in working with men, but there's also this fear of I'm a beautiful woman, and you have these athletes who have been used to being dominant male alpha that have, history of I get what I want, and me having some trauma around sexuality in that sense. And so trying to integrate all of that together is something that I'm working on, and knowing how powerful I am. I think I've talked about this before in being sexy and sensual, but also being safe and strong, and not having to have sex to be sexy. So all of that is coming up.
Thank you. It's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that there's a theme that's emerging of just being in purpose, and also allowing all parts of yourself to coexist, and feeling like you don't have to pigeonhole. At the same time, how do you fully show up for your purpose? And and know that you'll be met and you'll be safe in it.
Sure.
So who feels called to express next?
I'll share. Hi everyone. It's a tough one. I feel like there are so many parts of myself, and in some ways they fundamentally want the same thing, but in the 3D world it means very divergent paths. And so I'm trying to find a way to unify what I feel inside that I want, but also play it out in the 3D world. For me, I guess what's important to me is honoring the what I view as sacred. And for me, the things that are most sacred are nature and like indigenous ways of knowing and being, and creating um, spaces where people can come together in harmony and in loving kindness and compassion. Like I see that world and I want to create that world. And it's been the thing that has driven every choice that I've made. And sometimes the spiritual side, the like peace loving side of me that's very vulnerable and very sensitive and to other people's energies, is trying to do that within the system, which means I have to embody a completely different like exterior attitude. And so that's my challenge, is feeling, how can I create this world that I envision? How can I protect our planet and people and their way of life, or create a community that's where people aren't just trying to take from each other, where they can share in a cooperative sense, and how can we empower people to create that in their lives. But yeah, that's what's important to me. And the way that I've been trying to go about that has been to work in the system or to have leadership roles, but sometimes that can be really depleting for my soul self to be in that space. And I'm trying to build my resilience so that I can still be my authentic self, but also know how to step into a leadership role and embody something that's a little bit different, so that I can operate in those spaces. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I love that. Yeah, the mix of in the system, and also doing, like, creating your own foundation, and like what would it look like to marry the two, or how do you operate within each one. And yeah, I think I'm so inspired by what everyone's sharing, and I'm just, super grateful to be here with you all. Thank you. It's really beautiful to hear the visions, and also ourselves, like what would us living in our ultimate purpose and being the leaders that we know we're here to be, what would it look like while not dishonoring any parts of ourselves, and not sacrificing anything, like anything that we are personally, but we get to show up and step deeper into feeling met within the work that we do. So who feels called to go next, Brittany or Molly?
I'll go. Yeah, lots of visions. What's coming up for me right now is specifically, being able to do the dimensional healing work that I so desired to do, but also helping guide people back to nature. I have been learning all about herbology and plant medicine, and, you know, cooking for yourself, how to build your own home, how to live sustainably and off grid, and want to continue diving deeper into understanding that. And then also, now that I've been actually given this opportunity to live on this land, bring people there to teach them how to do it, and to create a container where people get to come and experience what it means to be a part of nature in a more concrete way. As we may all know, that our recycling is now not happening at all in the United States. China has stopped receiving our recycling, so recycling is pretty much pointless at this point. So how do we even get away from that? What's the next step to, you know, when I go to the store, I bring my mug with me to fill up, and I sometimes even bring a plate if I'm going to buy a treat, or I bring my dish to fill up my leftovers with. How can I remember to do that? Do I store something in my car? So anyways, sorry, I get into too many details. I forgot. Okay, keeping it short and sweet. So lots of that kind of stuff. And then also touching on all the notes that you guys are touching on as well. It's like expressing my sexuality, being comfortable in my sexuality, and being comfortable in honoring where I'm at any moment, and embodying that, you know, the goddess energy, and feeling beautiful, feeling sexy. Again, yeah, like Leilani said, you know, without having sex. You know, how can and I do that through dance a lot, is how can I express myself in this moving, sensual way and embody that energy in a more full manner. Yeah, that's what I have to share in my desire to manifest all of these things, and it will happen.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, Brittany, you're next. I'll just mute my.
Okay, so my integrated self, kind of tricky for me. As everybody's sharing, I keep hearing everyone say, "Oh, as people share everything, other things are coming up for me," and it's been that way for me too. I feel like each person that's shared has brought up something that I want to work on in some way. So, the music thing, it's funny that was mentioned, because that's a huge thing that's coming up for me right now. I've always wanted to create an album, at least at minimum an album. And just for like 15 years I've had this goal and never really finished anything that I felt that comfortable sharing. I'm also kind of afraid of my voice, so even though I've gotten compliments on it as well, that's something that I'm really trying to work on right now. I've actually had a music studio for like 5 months now and have not used it at all, really. So I keep like running away from opportunities, creative opportunities as well. So I would really like to get over my intense fear around that, and actually create music that I'm proud of and that I can share with people and say, okay, this is actually done. I'm happy with it, you know, and kind of release it into the world. And I'm really wanting to find a sense of independence. I've been getting a lot of help over the years from my dad. Just I've had health issues, anxiety issues, and a lot of stuff, a lot of blocks with work, a lot of trauma stuff. And I really want to create something that's my own and not have to feel like I have to keep going to him and saying, oh, can you help me, you know, with this business? Can you help me with this business? Or is this a good enough idea? I want to feel confident enough in myself and healthy physically, mentally, so that I can create a business that I feel good about, and something where I'm successful and I'm not struggling financially without any help. So that's really important to me. And the sexual thing keeps coming up, so I think that's important for me to address. I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but I feel like I should touch on that. Because for me, that's like a huge trigger. I have a lot of sexual trauma. And what has made me feel powerful for the last several years is just like not being sexual at all. Like I feel just so much anger around it. I don't want anyone to touch me. Like I know that needs to be healed, obviously. I don't think there's a way to really be like a healthy, integrated adult feeling so much anger around that. Because bring it back to the teenage thing, I was like kind of promiscuous as a teenager. I didn't have any shame around that. And so I just have so much shame, so much anger around that as an adult. And so, yeah, I think that needs to be worked on. But I have a lot of resistance to it because it makes me feel super unsafe. So, yeah, that's what's going on for me, I think.
Thank you so much for your vulnerability, love. Speaking to all parts. And yeah, it just definitely resonates strongly. And I just feel like, yeah, there's such a resonance between the sexuality and the sovereignty leadership, us stepping into our life's work and at the same time not feeling like we have to sacrifice an aspect of ourselves, or also feeling like it's possible, like we could be supported in creating what we know we're here to create. So I feel like it's time for me to share, because I noticed that I didn't share the first time around, and I definitely want to be vulnerable and open, and that's an edge for me as well. I'm just like, when I am standing in a leadership position, how much do I share? And so, I'm here to be transparent and to welcome you into my world as well. So I feel like it's really important, and so I'm finding that it's edgy right now, but I will definitely speak to it. Recently, I've been going through a big process with my inner teenager, more so than my inner child. My inner child, I've focused the last like 8 years and like 6 years professionally, and I've just like done not all the work. I don't think we're ever really fully arrived. There's so much work to be done. But now my inner teenager is calling for my attention, and it's been a lot with sexuality, with open relating, with dancing, with expressing my sexuality in a way that doesn't feel shameful, and in a way that doesn't feel like someone just wants to take something from me. It feels like, like a lot of the time I have this underlying fear that like, oh, they just want me for my sexuality. Like if this wasn't here, they wouldn't want to connect with me, or like what I am is not enough unless I show up in a certain way sexually. But at the same time, I want to show up in a certain way sexually. So there is this kind of this inner conflict of just like, okay, how do I stay true to myself and express my desires without attaching any stories to that, and allowing it to exist. So my inner teenager is exploring polyamory right now in a way that when I was 17, I had a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and it was it ended up being a massive disaster, and I had a lot of trauma after it. And so being in an open relating field was something that always called to me, but I never gave myself permission for it. And so, the past year, I've been exploring what does giving myself permission to relate in a way that feels good to me looks like. And there is a strong desire to have a monogamous relationship with like a family and kids, and have it going like both the alternate route but also the traditional route. So I feel very torn about that, and I'm feeling that feeling torn with my partner within it too, because we're both kind of going back and forth and not fully speaking to our desires, but also feeling like we won't be able to have the traditional experience if we tend to the openness. So so my integrated self would hold both. I would be both open and allowing myself to explore in ways that feel resonant for me, and at the same time have a thriving partnership where I feel like what we're building is solid, and I feel loved and seen and supported, and vice versa, and creating something that's really sustainable, and at the same time being able to relate and connect in deep ways, and be with the people that I love, and not having to feel like I have to choose, and feeling like I can give myself full permission. So that's me with sexuality. And with creation, I feel like I'm like at 40% of what I'm capable of, and I feel myself holding back. And there's this fear of just like, what happens when I fully let go, or feeling like a fear of feeling overwhelmed, feeling like my capacity can only hold a certain amount. So what happens when I fully step into my purpose? Am I going to be able to hold that? And recently, I mean, I've been having a lot of people in my field who are super successful, who are super inspiring entrepreneurs, just like killing it, and being both successful financially, and also doing really, really powerful transformative work in the world. And that's what I see myself being as both. And there is this again, this hesitation of just feeling like almost like I have to choose. And so I've been with these parts of myself feeling conflicted, feeling like I have to choose, and I want to know that I can have it all. So my integrated self wants to have it all, wants to be both successful in a way that that would allow me to create the biggest impact I can create here, and make the biggest difference in the lives that I touch, and also have my needs taken care of at the same time, and knowing that I don't have to sacrifice either my needs or how I show up for others, and that they can all be welcomed. So yeah, so ideally my integrated self is gets to have it all, and gets to embrace all of her desires, and knows that she can be met, and that she doesn't have to sacrifice parts of herself to be happy. So yeah, so that's thank you. That felt edgy and good to share. Yeah, I feel complete with that. So yeah, we're see a time. Yeah, so we're over our time now a bit. So I feel like it's been so beautiful connecting with everyone, and getting to hear your personal processes, and seeing how interconnected we all are. And this is also like really helping me to navigate how we're going to be going through this journey, to really support everyone with where they're at, and to be layering our process, because we're going to be going by layers. And right now we are really focusing on creating space for everything that we're calling in. So as we're going through these transitions, whether we're going through big transitions externally, or we're experiencing internal shifts, we are right now this month, we're really focusing on, how do I make more space? How do I make more space for all parts of me? How do I make more space and give myself permission to be with all that I am, and to create space for what I want to call in? So that's the biggest theme. And yeah, I feel like there's more to say, but I feel pretty complete right now. Would love to hear the closing statements, what's coming up for everyone. Like, what was your experience of this call, or what do you feel called to share?
I'm excited for the next one.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So everyone is mute right now. So if you want to say something, just make sure to unmute yourself.
I'll add something. Yeah, I'm kind of in awe that in many ways we're experiencing similar themes. And I guess what resonated with what Anya shared is that you can have both. And I'm trying to break through the stories that I tell myself, like, well, I have to do this, or that. and that's it. Or there's only one way to achieve my vision, and then I'm trying to fit myself in that box, and it's not, doesn't feel right, and I wonder why. So like broadening your idea of what you think is possible, and creating space for that, and trusting that if something is in your highest good, and if it's in your purpose, the universe is going to find ways to put it into your life to facilitate what is going to serve your highest good. So
yeah, beautiful. Thank you. That really lands. Yeah. Leilani, I think, were you trying to say something? Do you want me to unmute you, or for some reason I can't hear? It says that you're not mute, but
Yeah, we can't hear you.
oh, I think that maybe, wait, I thought maybe I heard you. No.
oh.
Yeah, for some reason it's not registering. Yeah, I like muted and unmuted you again, and it's not.
I don't actually see her saying anything. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think she's definitely trying to say something.
Okay.
You're chatting. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, yeah. If you can type it, Kieran, I'll just read it. Oh, you gotta get your voice back. It's all good. But it's interesting. You're like wearing blue as well. Okay. So yeah. So once you type it up, I'll read it. So if there's anyone that feels called to share right now, while Leilani,
yeah, I can share. Just a reflection of this call. I feel like it's really good, as everything is in divine timing. Just having space for us to share from our inner child, inner teenager voice. Super great, because
oh.
No.
Technical difficulties. Okay, we'll just wait for a moment. Hopefully she will emerge. Okay. I don't know where, yeah, Tiffany just disappeared. Oh wait, it says, yeah, for some reason it says that her camera is off. Okay, so until she reemerges, I don't know what is going on, but does anyone else want to share in the meantime?
It's funny that all this communication stuff is coming up right now. I think a lot of us have shared about feeling safe with expression, and then at the end, it's like all these issues. So it's kind of funny too.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic. Tiffany, you're back. Are you able to talk? Okay, so we can't hear you. Oh. Okay, so Tiffany's phone died. And Leilani's saying, I love that this is a web of connectivity and that we're all crossing over in our work. I'm excited to see how it all unfolds for us, and I'm grateful for you all. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so that's really like, I see everything as symbolism, and especially in collective containers like this. So I'm just like curious, okay, at the very end, like there was like the communication was on until like the very end. So I'm going to just pull a card and see what the message is, because I trust that there's a message in this. And so, oh wow, okay. Again, I pulled this card last time in the reading that I posted. It's called In the World, Not of the World. And the other card is Sacred Fool. And so it's the Sacred Fool card. It's like the universe is like being a trickster, essentially. The message that I'm getting is that even if we feel like we can't express what wants to emerge from us, like even if we feel like the world isn't fully receiving, we are being supported, we are seen, we are loved, and people are here to hear a message. And so sometimes the delivery of that can feel like it's not cohesive, it's not supportive. Like, why isn't this happening? Maybe we can feel frustrated, or we could feel like that means that people are not ready to receive it, or that means that no one wants to listen to this, or that I should just keep it to myself. But the reality is that sometimes these things are going to come up, but there's people, like everyone here is waiting for your truth and is embracing you and is loving you, and trust that it's going to emerge at its own timing. And so I feel like that's really important to say, because the theme also from all of us is that we are here, we're ready to step up into an evolved aspect of ourselves. And we have an idea of what it is, but we're not 100% sure how to get there quite yet, but we're here to figure it out. And knowing that that us embodying that truth, sometimes we don't have to like scream it at the rooftops. We get to just embody it and trust it and know that we're supported, and know that there's this collective, whether that's the energy that's here in this group, or that's the energy in the collective and in the communities that we find ourselves in our relationships, knowing that we're supported, we have the tools, and that when it's time, our message will be heard, but not to give up and to remember how supported we are. So I think that was just super important to speak, because the sacred fool is also like the universe is just kind of just like playing around and being like, okay, well, we're just gonna throw that wrench in and see how you handle it. So, and that's life, you know. So oftentimes that comes up, and it's like, okay, how do we just have to trust that we're being seen, loved, and we're supported. That is like that's the ultimate message, and trusting that we have our tribe behind us. And so I want to open it up to anyone else that has any last words, or if you just if you want to post it in the group or post it in the chat. I think that it's really interesting, the timing of things, but I also I see it as a message for sure.
This is Mandy. So what I'm feeling is a confirmation of the feminine, like a message for me to lean back into my feminine and allow things to happen, which I have been doing this week through the grief. And then with the ending of this relationship, I've been leaning back and giving it space. Mm-hmm. And this is my third video call today. And so I'm full, I'm feeling full. And I'm also just noticing that I've been very ambitious in my life, Capricorn. If anyone else Capricorn, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's time to like lean back. Like I'm going to call in more ease and more grace and do less, like less is more. And that's kind of what I'm going with, which is the feminine in my perspective, how I understand the feminine. Leaning back, not trying to do too much. So thank you ladies.
Thank you so much. We're creating spaciousness, and that's the theme this month. It's spaciousness, and we're not trying to make things happen, we're allowing things to land. So and it's like there's going to be a time for action, but right now, especially as these transitions are happening, we're rerouting, we're recalibrating, and during these recalibrations, it's important to just keep creating space and knowing that when the time's right, things are going to align. We're gonna make it happen. But it's the feminine wants to be embodied more so than even expressed, just embodied in our beings. Okay, beautiful. Well, this feels like a good time to end. So I posted a theta healing meditation online. Please check it out when you have the chance. Really excited. This is the first like real meditation that I recorded. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And so this meditation, it's the original theta healing. So essentially it's just important when you listen to it that you give your permission. So anytime I ask you, like, do you give your permission? You either speak yes or you think yes, but speaking yes out loud is going to be more powerful. And so you can listen to this on the daily to bring yourself into the 7th plane of unconditional love. You can listen to it whenever you feel like, if you're experiencing a lot of grief, if there's a lot of limiting beliefs or fears coming up, whatever the case may be, this meditation in general, it just brings you into a more elevated state. And so we're going to, all the meditations that we're going to be doing hereafter are going to be focused on specific themes that we're going to be working on, whether that's procrastination, fear, lack of confidence, whatever the case may be, they're going to be themed. This is the first one, as just to bring us into a theta healing state. So you can always listen to this if you want to just be in a loving space, if you want your heart to feel more expansive, also if you want to manifest. If you're in the process of like, okay, I want to make something happen, listening to this meditation will open you up to getting into a frequency of manifestation. So yes, just to give you a little bit of a background about that. And yeah, going to be posting more in the group, and we're going to, the next time we meet, I'm going to just, we're going to figure it out in the group. It's going to be most likely next week, since we haven't had another meeting this month. I want to fit it into this month. And then we're going to start doing it every 2 weeks. So thank you so much, ladies. I'm so grateful to have you all here, and you're all incredible women, and it's just such an honor. And I'm really excited for this journey that we're embarking on. I'm sending you all so much love. Yes. And hopefully next time there won't be technical difficulties.
For sure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, loves. Have a beautiful night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.